All right, so welcome to another episode of Set and Change Pod. It's your boy Beans. We got JA here. How you feeling post draft?
Uh, I'm good, man. I think it was a solid draft overall. Like just looking back over it. There was, a lot of talk about, Casey's early picks, but not for nothing. I think the team panned out well. Like definitely some. I know I took some risks. I'm banking on a couple guys to really hit home, but you know, I think for the most part, though, it was a good draft for everyone.
Yeah, since we're here on draft, we might as well start there. So if you had to give yourself a grade for your draft, what would you give it?
Probably a C. I think so.
That's it?
Yeah. I was in a little conundrum because I didn't have a
Oh,
fourth,
right.
so I've been going back and forth of like what I should do. I ended up taking Josh with my third because I kind of want to double up at running back, but then I'm like, maybe I do need a receiver, so I went Nico first, and then I went Derrick Henry. Um, that third pick was tough. It was like I could wait on the quarterback, but I need someone that gets me points too. So,
Yeah.
um, he can like kind of cover up for, my running backs, deficiencies because I kind of waited on my second back and I'm banking on a couple guys that are handcuffs as well. Um, so it's just like a give or take. Like, it could pan out wrong for me. So I give myself because, I took some chances there. So, I think it was still, okay. But I probably could have went a couple different ways. But, I think at that time, that was my mindset.
Yeah, I think for not having a fourth, I think the team came out solid. I like well, we'll get to it later. Golden pick. I like Flowers and your wide receivers are straight. Um,
I don't
just a
have my
matter of
second back,
if your
my
backs are
back.
going to produce early or not. Yeah. And I definitely get having to get a quarterback at three because by the time the fifth comes around, the top 4 or 5 guys would have been gone. So that
Lamar
makes
and
sense.
Lamar and Josh would have definitely been gone. And I don't need someone that's going to straddle the line of like 20 and like I need someone that can like go get a 50 piece for me. Like, you know what I mean? And those two kind of separate themselves. Burrow too. But I needed the dual threat
The
of
dual
you could throw it,
threat.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, that plays a big key in fantasy, man. When you got a quarterback that could do both and the ball's in their hand, majority of the time, obviously. So definitely needed that.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Makes sense. I think it came out pretty well. Um, for me, I would give myself B. There's some later picks that I got sniped right ahead of me, so I was scrambling a little bit. But early on, when St. Brown, I was planning on taking him no matter where. I was just hoping he was still there. Um, I was kind of debating between him and Nico. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Nico, and I was thinking back to his season last year, how hot he started. If he didn't get injured, he might have ended up, wide receiver two, wide receiver three. So I was
Easily. Yeah.
contemplating that, and then C-Mac on the comeback was like
Kind of had to.
kind of had to. Yeah, I mean that he's his ADP is like 7 or 8, and he's a league winning back. If he can stay healthy, that's a huge if. Everybody knows that, but if he's healthy, I really like that 1-2 combination. And then I went London, then Burrow in the fourth. I knew in the third or the fourth I had to go quarterback because they were going to start going at that point. And I didn't want to be in a position I was in last year. I had Pat who stunk it up, and then I had Love who was injured. So every week I'm scrambling for points at quarterback. So I knew I had to do something different there. Um, but overall, I did wait a little bit late to get my rookie. But I do think Jaden Higgins has a chance to have a lot of action, especially while Mixon is out. They're probably gonna be throwing it a lot because I don't know how Chubb is. I don't know what he looks like at running back right now. So
The team is kind of weird right now because Mixon's out. You got Chubb, then you got the rookie running back, and then you got
yeah,
two rookie receivers. And I just picked up, Kirk off the way because I'm like, I mean, who you ain't gonna throw it to the rookies? I mean, Kirk is, kind of like a reliable slot type receiver. So,
yeah.
um, with Tank Dell missing some time, and then Mechie got, traded. So I think that offense is definitely going to be on guys' radar because you just don't know what to expect right now.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hopeful if he can come through. I think my team will be pretty solid. Are there any drafts that you really liked? Anybody that stood out to you?
Not for nothing. I think Jay Green, dealing with what he had to deal with,
For
I
sure.
think he went back heavy. Now
First three.
I talked to him about it. The Garrett Wilson pick is maybe a little shaky because I was like, if Fields isn't playing good ball, like that can
Mm.
be, you know what I mean? Like he had Aaron Rodgers last year, and it still was kind of a little shaky for him. So now you're getting a quarterback that kind of also runs. That takes targets from him. So I'm not sure what that Jets offense is gonna kind of look like. I think they'll definitely be run first. Um, but I liked how he did it. Like, he went back heavy, which, you're going to need, it's good to have multiple backs. That's kind of like, I wanted to do the limit because I know, that, he got about six, seven back.
I forgot
He
about
had
that
about,
last year. Yeah,
he had about six, seven backs. But at some point in the season, running backs, for some reason, they hit like a little wall. And
always.
it's like, yo, is my running back in the game? Like, is he injured? Like, so it's kind of tough. Like they start off well, and when it start getting cold out, things change. So, um, for what he had to deal with, for losing picks, I think he had a solid job. It's up in the air with Purdy. They got a lot of injuries on offense over there. But if he can stay healthy, he showed he can be, a viable option in fantasy. So
Yeah, I think for his situation, Green definitely did a good job. Not taking a quarterback at all was an interesting strategy, but I guess you got to find somebody on the wire and make sure your other spots are good. But yeah, first three picks, Gibbs, Irving, Brown, that's a very good trio of running backs. The
mhm.
wide receivers are really hit or miss. You got Xavier Worthy, you got Waddle. You don't know what their situations are, but overall, for what he had, I thought
He
Luke
one
Willis
hit
had a pretty
away.
good draft. Huh?
He one hit away with them receivers.
Yeah.
Worthy or Waddle get hit. Yeah, man. Maybe going to a timeout.
Yeah. I was gonna say for me, outside of Jay Green, I like Lowe's team. I think he's a pretty good drafter overall. We've been drafting him for a long time. It's always a questionable pick or two here and there, but his wide receiver room, Chase, McConkey, McLaurin, Pickens, and Devontae. That's to me, that's a very solid wide receiver room. I play him this week. I'm trying to figure out what's gonna happen, but of course, half his lineup is on the bench, so I don't know exactly what he's gonna do. He took JT at 2. I don't know if I would have did that just because of that offense, and I don't know exactly what you're going to get. I think
hmm
JT might be better without Richardson being behind center, but you never
I
know.
think he had to though. It was tough because if you look in the second round, 8 running backs came off the board. The only people that didn't take running backs, I think, was me and Check, I believe,
Yeah,
or Casey, right? Casey took Bowers in the second. Did Casey take Bowers in the second, or
yeah. Casey took Bowers in second. I mean,
and I
technically,
took
you did. You took Henry in the second,
okay,
technically.
him, yeah, yeah. But like once that started off, like I think it was like 8 running backs that went. It might have
Yeah,
been
they went
Bowers
quick.
in, yeah, Bowers in, and I think well Casey and Check, I think were the only two that didn't take a running back in the second, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Check took a wide receiver. Casey, yeah, it was all running backs. But at the
On
same
top of the
time,
backs that went in the first too. So like,
yeah, it was thin. But I don't. It's preference at that point. But for
yeah,
me, the three backs that went after him, I probably would have took before him. You had James Cook after him, you had A Chain, and you had Chase Brown. I was really high on Chase Brown this year,
I'm very
so I
high.
probably would have
I
took
was
those
very
guys
high.
before him.
I
But
think so too. The James Cooks always scares me because Josh kind of takes away from him,
yeah, that's fair.
especially goal line. Yeah, JT, that offense was, you know, you just don't know what you're going to get from Danny Dimes either. So
True.
at that point, like you said, it's preference, and it was like, how you going to build your team, and then bye weeks play a factor because
Also true.
I almost took Worthy, and I'm like, damn, I'm like his body's crazy, but I'm also like I got Derrick Henry too. Ain't too many other people going to be getting the ball over there like that. I mean, they may, but
Yeah,
I'll take Henry and Zay and just deal with it. So definitely plays into your strategy.
yeah, that definitely makes sense. I wasn't thinking about buys at that moment, but so I don't know his situation, but that does make sense. You got to factor that in. I know there's a few guys that I was sitting next to that later in the draft are like, man, I got 3, 4 guys, 5 guys on buy 1 week. Like, I'm just giving this week away. So I get it. So let's see. Anybody that you really like, any steals, anybody that went really late that you were surprised.
Mm. Ooh, oh man, I had one on my mind. I'm not sure when he got him, but when Casey took Travion Henderson, I was high on him too. Like preseason just looked good. What round did he go in?
The board says 6, but I don't know if that was actually a 6 or it's
Oh,
fifth because
it could be.
he had
Yeah,
2 fourths, right? So that probably was
yeah,
probably in the
two
fifth, fifth.
fourths and 2 6. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think that's a
um,
good pick. I like that pick a lot.
I loved it. I think he's a versatile back. He does a lot, especially on special teams. I was very high on him too. A lot of my mocks that I did, I had Travion. I was picking
Same.
him. So and I forget who got him. Evan Ingram. I like that pick at tight end. I forgot who picked him.
John took him in the
Yes,
four, six, eighth. You got him in eighth.
it's not bad. I think
Yeah.
he stretches the field for them. I think that's what they needed. To help out those receivers over there. I think that's a very solid pick.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I don't know who else they even have out there outside of Sutton, and I think Mims is still there, probably wide receiver wise. But other than that,
Yeah, Troy Franklin, second
mm,
year player. He went to Oregon with Bo Nix, but it's not
gotcha.
too many guys, so I think there's a lot of opportunities for Evan.
Yeah, I definitely like that pick. For me, who did I go? Oh, I went with. I really like. That's what I was talking about earlier. The Matthew Golden pick for you in the sixth. Um,
Yeah,
you knock out a rookie, and he got a very good chance to be wide receiver one over there because Reed is injured, Watson is on IR, Dobbs is Dobbs. So, I mean, he got a good chance. So to get him in the sixth to cover two important needs, I really like that pick there. And then not to be a homer, but who got Tucker Craft? I saw that earlier. Uh, Tucker
was
Craft
that
went in the 15th round.
to Los?
And
Was that Los?
last year, yeah, Dub got him, of course. I should have
Dub,
known.
of course, yeah.
Yeah. But he finished as tight end seven last year. So to get the seventh best tight end from the year before at round 15, especially when tight end is so thin this year, I think that definitely was a steal. So I like that pick a lot. Um, so yeah, the draft was cool. Let's move on to some of the big news. Well, it's only really one big thing that happened last week. Micah Parsons to Green Bay. What were your initial thoughts when you saw the news and exactly what was in the trade?
I was actually at practice when it happened. And my phone went off. I'm like, wait, this serious? Like, I didn't think it would be a chance that in Green Bay, and I didn't think Green Bay would ever
Yeah,
be in
we
on
don't do that.
something like, yeah. So like, the city must have got together for that one. Like, I don't know. They must have got together at City Hall.
City Hall is crazy.
Stunning because he went into he stayed in the NFC. Um, that changes things. That changes a lot of things for you guys. I know you had question marks going in of like, what's the direction? Like, what are we doing? And you get
Yeah,
Micah, and it's like, yo, it's basically win now, like with that type of player.
has to
So,
be.
and I think that helps out, whatever corners that you do have out there. Um, having him being able to, yeah, like shorten up that span for a DB is helpful, to mask some, deficiencies back there. So, I like it. I'm a hater, because especially, I got Devin one chat, I'm a hater, by heart, but
Yeah,
it's a good move, on on the politically correct side. It's a great move, but definitely a hater at heart, bro.
yeah, I like it. I was very shocked. I had started hearing the rumblings earlier in the day, and I'm like, we don't make big moves
Hmm.
like that, especially with the numbers we had to give him contract wise. Um, the only thing that scares me is I know he's not great against the run, and we also gave up our best interior lineman, Kenny Clark. So I don't even know who we have in the middle anymore. So if we can't stop the run, like I think we'll be good against the pass. We were very good against the pass last year, even what we had, but I just don't know if we're gonna be able to stop the run. Um, do you think the trade was pretty even in terms of what we gave up? Two firsts and Kenny Clark, who is still good but aging.
It's a good trade because you won for now. Their future, remains to be seen, but you still got to hit on those picks. So,
Yeah,
you could get two first, but I've seen teams get two first and not know what to do with it. So, those turn into busts. So, to be time to be, we'll go back and check, on those two picks. But for right now, obviously, I'll definitely give you guys the win.
yeah, I think it all depends, and we got to see exactly how this injury plays out. I know they've been talking about he's
Mhm.
gonna need to take shots before the game, all this other stuff with the back. And the back is nothing to play with as a somebody who's going to
Definitely.
be rushing a passer. So that'd be an interesting piece of it. Does this put the Packers any higher on your contender list now that they made this move, or does it is it about the same?
I think it definitely moves them up a spot or two. And now you get a prolific pass rusher, it's somebody you have to account for. So anytime you got somebody like that on your team, that is gonna open it up for guys like Rashawn Gary and rest of the team. And you still got McKinney at safety, so
Yeah,
um, it's only gonna make guys around you better, especially when you get an All Pro type of talent like that. So I would definitely put you. I definitely it's definitely playoffs. Like it
Yeah.
could be the division. Not sure how the division will play out. It's a little crazy over there. A lot of question marks with obviously yourself and then the Lions offense and then are the Bears for real? Is JJ McCarthy? So I think it's for the taking though. I think it's still wide open and I would definitely give you the nod right now.
Yeah, I think I don't want to get too excited about it, but I do think it boosts us a little bit. I think once again, it's a tough division. But I think we definitely can win it, if not be second. I don't think the Vikings will be as good, and I don't think the Bears will be. I don't think the Bears are there just yet. But speaking of the division and the Bears, I was at work yesterday and NFL TV or whatever was on, and they were picking all their division winners. And one of the guys picked the Bears to win the NFC North. Do you think there's any shot that they take that big of a step with Ben Johnson?
No, I don't think so. It'll be some growing pains, but like, I mean, it's not to say it can't be done. We've seen first time head coaches, make the leap and do that. But I just think, with the talent in the division, it's not like, it's not a walk in the park,
Oh, for
So
sure.
yeah, so they're going to deal with some stuff as well. But no, I don't think so. I'll be shocked if they do, but I'll give it to you. You are the Lions for the
Yeah,
division.
that's how I would go. I mean, the Vikings might shock us because that defense will keep them in games. Um, and who knows what McCarthy is going to be out. Like I was watching that same show and they're just talking about, he's won at every level, won a national championship in high school, won a national championship college. Maybe he just got those intangibles, but the league is it's a little bit different.
It's
So
a different ball game. Yeah, it's,
we'll
it's a
see.
different world. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Week one, so we finally get to start picking games. We start getting to do our starts and our sits. Are there any guys that you love this week? You like their matchups?
Penix. I love it.
The Bucks
Yeah, I'm
defense is
going.
pretty solid, though. No,
We tore it up last year with Kirk. So
I know Kirk
I
did.
think,
I was about to say, did Penix play
yeah,
against him?
no, Kirk played both games.
Okay,
Penix only played against Commanders, Giants, and Panthers.
gotcha.
He played those three. But I just think he just adds another element to our offense that we didn't have with Kirk. Kirk was able to kind of dink and dunk and hit guys, and be efficient. But like what Penix is showing with me is he's challenging guys downfield, like he's taking those home run balls. So um, I like the matchup because they got a lot of injuries going on over there, and I think
Yeah.
we're pretty much healthy, and yeah, 4 TDs, 320. Yeah,
Goodness
we'll,
gracious.
we'll have fun.
Um, so
tell the
speaking of the
city, tell
Falcons,
the city
what
we back up.
I hope so. I
Nah, I
want,
got
like I said, I took him last
yeah,
year. I got to be a little more skeptical this year after what
fact,
Kirk showed
yeah.
us. But yeah, speaking of the Falcons, what would you say in terms of wins? What is the floor for the Falcons, you think, this year with all the talent
Um,
you got?
talent. Our schedule's tough. Our first 6 games is we go from the Bucks and go right to Sunday night against the Vikings, which is never easy. So
Yeah,
I would say the floor is probably just being over 500, probably 9-8. And I think if a couple games can go our way, how we did with the Eagles last year, a couple other games that were close, especially with the Bucks twice. I would say the ceiling is probably a 12-5 season.
I definitely could see that. If you guys hit, all I've heard all offseason is how good that offense is going to be with Bijan and Drake.
We
I've
lost
been
our
now go
we,
ahead.
lo- we lost our right tackle though for the year. He got hurt like one of the last 2 practices before camp, Caleb
Oh,
McGarry.
gotcha.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so but they had time to figure it out. It's just next man up mentality. So if that can, if the offensive line has always been gelling, one of the better offensive lines in the league. So if they could protect Penix, I think, man, it's up.
you said your right tackle,
Right tackle, yeah, Caleb
so
McGarry.
that's even more important since your quarterback is left-handed. That's his blind side,
Yeah,
right?
but he don't go on the center, so it's not like really his blind side anymore because
Gotcha.
we're more so pistol and shotgun. So I mean, unless he's straight drop back, out of under center, which we rarely do, unless kind of like we're running it, we're not really a traditional under center. So the blind side thing is kind of like overanalyzed, but it's not really. I don't. They say it's not a factor. I don't think so either because you could, you got, they use tight ends for chip blocks and stuff like that. So if you had to, you could always protect his backside, but I ain't worried about it.
Gotcha. So I've been posting a lot of stuff on TikTok and I've been scrolling a lot to see all the fantasy stuff people are talking about. and like every few videos, it's a video about what you do at the end of your draft when you don't have a tight end and you're faced with Kyle Pitts, and everybody's like, I don't want to take him. What
Weak as hell,
happened to
bro.
Kyle Pitts? Because like every year it's a little bit of hope, and I feel like he just disappoints every year.
Is I mean, Kyle Pitts has been through four quarterbacks, um,
Fair.
one knee injury,
Mm,
and the one quarterback that he really was consistent with, he went to the Pro Bowl. So
mm.
yeah, you could blame Kyle Pitts, but it's like Heineke wasn't getting him the ball, Ritter wasn't getting him the ball, Mariota wasn't getting him the ball. Them three quarterbacks never touched fantasy. So
Yeah,
I
not a very
laugh at
good
the
quarterback.
yeah, I laugh at it. Like Mariota got his knee blown up. So Kyle Pitts at that point, Kyle Pitts was never really himself again. Like going across the middle, like which I get. Like I'm
Yeah,
yo, you got my knee shattered, bro. Like
yeah,
going
I get
across the
it. I
middle
get
is
it.
just not like I don't trust you no more. You know what I mean? Like you go games with one target. You can only do as much as you get in the ball. Like if you got one target, it's not that you're not doing anything. It's you ain't getting the ball. So I think this is his first off season where he didn't have to rehab anything. He's shown that he's been healthy, but I think everyone gets mad because Kyle is young. Kyle is very young, and then Kyle is just like you got a 1,000 yard season, and then you got it's like he started off smooth last year. Then Kirk went through his spell, and then Kirk stopped throwing him the ball. So like Pitts, Pitts was like wide tight end like five midway through the season,
Really,
and
I didn't even
then
know.
we were 6-2, 6-3, and then Kirk hit that where he couldn't throw a touchdown pass for 4 weeks, and Kyle was getting 1 to 2 passes a game. It's like
Yeah.
he couldn't even get him the ball. The only person he knew really was Drake London. So like
Mm.
or Bijan. So I mean, Mooney didn't even hit 1,000 yards because of Kirk because Kirk just stopped throwing the ball. So yeah, Kyle's gonna get that because fantasy's always just numbers based, but it's not really looking at like if you threw Mariota to anybody, to half these receivers, you're not getting yards here. Mariota, Ritter, and we had some struggle years with those guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Pitts can get in the ball, then now I would definitely look at Pitts like maybe it's you, at some point. But yeah, having four quarterbacks, four different offensive systems, like
That's
that's
fair.
tough. It's definitely tough. And then, he had Matt Ryan, and then, he goes to the Pro Bowl with Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan gets traded, and it just becomes a foregone conclusion.
What was that like year one?
It was his rookie year.
Okay.
Kyle
Gotcha.
broke the record. Kyle broke the record for tight end yards in a season for a rookie, and then yeah, so
Yeah. So maybe it's not
Kyle,
him. Maybe I mean
no one's gonna see that.
the
Yeah.
quarterbacks you name aren't lighting anybody up. So I mean it makes sense. I get it.
Fantasy though. If you're not
Yeah.
if you're not throwing your guy the ball, it's like yo, he stinks. Like you know what I mean? Like how you feel like you like yo, like when you had Reek last year, yeah, Tua was out there, but it's like yo, he's not getting the ball. It's like, but
Yeah.
then you see when Tua was out, your guy couldn't even get a catch. Huntley could
Facts.
not get him the ball. It's like, what do you want Tyreek to do? Like
Yeah. No,
he
that's
can't
true.
throw a slant. He can't throw a slant. Like it's not you just gotta hey yo, just try to get a bomb somewhere or just rack up like 8 catches. Bro, give me 8 for 85, bro. That's about 14, 15 in fantasy.
Yeah, it's not bad.
We'll,
I'll
we'll
take that every
take
week.
we'll take our hits and we'll get out of here. Like so, but I just laugh at it because it's fantasy, so you're just expecting points, and Kyle would literally go like games with like 2 for 23, and he'll just
Yeah.
be in there blocking. Like so,
Nah, I get it. The explanation makes it a lot more understandable. To stay in the division, I've been hearing a lot of good things about Carolina, and they took a step towards the end of last year. That offense got a lot better. Can they compete at all? Not for the division to win it. We know they're not going to win it, but can they compete within the division? Will they keep the games
um,
close between with you and the Bucks and those guys?
with us, no, no, I'm just kidding. They could. If Bryce is still elevating his game, I think after the benching he showed promise.
Yeah, a lot to
Um,
me.
yeah, definitely. And then you add a rookie receiver, but I don't know. Like the division is always tough. Our division is always like is weird.
Yeah,
We don't win a division, but we finish like 4-1 or 5-1 in the division. So
it's crazy.
the South is always crazy. But as long as he's still taking his game to another height, they'll definitely compete. Chuba Hubbard came on late.
Mhm.
They added Rico Dowdle. Um, so I definitely wouldn't count them out, especially if they're still riding that high from the end of last year.
Yeah, I definitely think if probably not this year, but I think the future is bright. They got a really young team. All their receivers have been drafted in the last few years, Xavier, Leggett, and Tet, and those guys. So I think it might take a while. You're gonna go through the growing pains, same thing as the Bears, but I think the future is definitely much brighter in Carolina than it's been in a very long time.
Definitely.
But going back to where we started, starts and sits. I don't like to bet against my team, but I'm going to go Gibbs versus the Packers for the reasons I said earlier. Um, I just think we're going to be bad against the run, at least to start the season, because of what we gave up in the middle. And also like Njoku versus Cincy. I don't know, other than Judy, I don't know what other weapons they have there. I think they got Tillman, um,
Coming, yeah.
but it's not going to be, well, I don't want to say it's not going to be easy to get them the ball because they're playing Cincinnati, so everybody probably be involved. But I think that's a great matchup that Njoku has versus Cincy. I think we'll get a lot of targets with what is his name? Quarterback, Flacco. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great matchup for them. Is there anybody you don't like this week? You're staying away from?
Mm. You know what, man? I just don't like any of the Niners versus the Hawks. I think with the injuries that they're battling, I think Mike McDonald being one of the younger DCs and up and coming, and I think Seattle can oppose their will with just Niners are dealing with a lot, like
Yeah, for sure.
um, keying on C Mac. Yeah, I just don't like that matchup at all for the Niners.
I hope he figures out a way because I need him to score if I'm
Yeah,
gonna have any
I
chance to
mean,
win.
you just need him to cross the goal line, but like just for like the receiving corp, like I just don't. I think Seattle can, put a lock on them. Like they got a lot of injuries over there. They're trying to call up guys from, practice squad.
Yeah.
It's crazy over there right now. So, yeah, I don't like nobody right now from, especially the receiving court. I don't know about the run game. C Mac is definitely, run game, pass game, but the receivers, I'm not too high on this week.
Yeah, I would agree with that. For me, I took two. I went with Kamara versus Arizona. I think Arizona's defense is going to be very good this year.
You're gonna
They've been
surprise
adding
people
pieces. Yeah, they've been adding pieces every year, getting a little bit better. And I just don't have any idea what New Orleans is going to look like, just given the lack of talent they have. They still have Kamara. They still have Olave. I think Olave went super late in our draft. Nobody trusted
because
him.
but then the Saints come out last year and was like one of the better teams for the first 2 weeks, right? Like they dropped 40 plus, back to back weeks. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
confusing.
it's very like but yeah, I don't know. Like with Rattler, like he could
Right.
throw the ball, but is it consistent? I don't know. And I think Arizona's going to put a lot of funky schemes at him, and I think
Yeah,
they do a good job on defense. And
yeah,
now you have
agreed.
one of the best corners in the draft too, Will Johnson.
Mhm.
Yeah, it could be a long day at the office for the Saints.
Yeah, I took Kamara, and also I'm staying away from Brees. I think every year he's getting fewer, I don't,
Worse.
not necessarily fewer touches, but Braylon Allen's coming out strong, and that Pittsburgh defense is just they always have a very solid defense. We don't know what we're going to get from Field, so at least for week one, I'm going to stay away from Brees.
That's
Um,
why I kind of cut Braylon Allen because I'm like, the
yeah,
way Brees' trajectory is, like, it's our time soon. Like, you just gotta,
yeah,
you just
yeah.
gotta
It's
hold the fort down.
nobody will be surprised if Allen takes over as the guy at some
You
point in
seen
the
it coming
season.
last year
It's coming.
because
Yeah,
they started splitting carries. I'm like, this is a little early for the rookie. Like, it's a little early, but yeah, I definitely seen it. So we'll see.
yeah. It's definitely been a bit of a fall off for Brees, unfortunately. Last but not least, let's get into this pick'ems. We got 5 games that you sent through. First and foremost, we'll start at your division. Bucks at Falcons. I already know your ticket.
Yeah, Homer first week. We got to start off on a good foot, man. We haven't won a week one game in a while. We do, so hopefully we can pull this one off.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Falcons as well. One, you're at home. Two, the Bucks are beat up, missing a bunch of guys. If they were healthy, I don't know which way I would go, but I'm gonna go Falcons. Niners at Seahawks. Who you got?
Taking Seahawks at home.
Same. I'm gonna take the Seahawks just for the same reason. The Niners are just beat up, and I think the Seahawks are gonna possibly have like a top 10 defense this year. So I like the Seahawks a lot. Lions at Packers.
Mm, mm. Lambeau Field. I'm gonna go Green Bay, man. I'm gonna go Green
Uh,
Bay. Home field advantage.
I'm hoping so. I'm going Packers as well. What I realized over the past few years, like there used to be a very distinct advantage that we had at Lambeau, but nowadays it's just not quite the same. There's a lot of teams that have come in, and especially in the playoffs, teams have come in and just beat
Yeah.
us. So I don't know if it has the same effect anymore, but I'm still going to go Packers week one. Texas at Rams.
Wow, that's a good one. CJ Stroud on the road. Matt Stafford, he been hurt. I'm gonna go Texans. I don't know if he's ready yet. I think that defense could put a little hurt on Stafford.
Same. I had the Texans. The Texans tend to start off hot, and the Rams tend to start off slow. McVay, I have them going by midseason. They'll probably end up making the
Definitely.
playoffs, but they've been starting slow. Texans got a lot of weapons on offense, minus Mixon, so I like Texans even on the road. And last but not least, Ravens at Bills.
Um, wow, I'm gonna go Bills. Upset.
So I thought you were going to say Ravens. I thought I was going to have to switch my pick, so we at least had one different. But I went with the Ravens, so we got one
All
that's
right.
different. Why are you going Bills? Why you like the?
I just think they kind of got Lamar in the number. I know they're a better team. But Bills are home too. They have it right. The Bills are home, right? I
Yeah,
believe so.
I didn't
Yeah,
double check it, but that's what you said. Yeah.
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think regular season definitely. He got his number right now. So granted they did beat him last year. Derrick Henry was big in that game, but I just think Josh, just the X factor.
You
It's
gotta
a
hope
damn
so for
good game
fantasy.
though. Yeah, I definitely need that, but I hope it's a shootout for all I
Yeah,
care. Like,
that would help.
you know what I mean? I think, with the addition of, Joey Bosa, I think that could play big dividends for them. I think that's what they needed too. Um, but the Ravens got better too. It's just a pick 'em for me, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just go Bills. Like,
no, yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from. So yeah, it'll be an interesting week. We got a lot of good matchups on deck. Fantasy wise, Casey and Jay Green, game of the week. The guy with the most picks, the guy with the least picks. They got the two highest projections for scores. So Jay Green did something right because somehow he still got the second highest projection.
I ain't going by that. That's what Lo said. You go by that, you start. You can't project. Somebody going for 50. You know what I mean? Like
True.
that flips the score so fast. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? One. You know how the bonuses go. You
yeah,
get one bomb TD, and it's like, wait, hold on now.
yeah,
Like, stop the count. Like for real, it get crazy. Like
yeah.
so. You just keep your eye on the scores. Everybody's already. I know how many times have you looked at your yeah. You know,
I'm looking at it all the time. I look at it a little bit
yeah,
less just because I'm playing Los, and I can't be like this versus that.
yeah.
It's just like it's kind of annoying, but he be doing the psychological stuff to you. So
hmm I just be looking like, man, projections going to change after a little update or something. But I don't worry about it. I'm just like, yeah, it is what it is. But I just need somebody to do more than what they projected to do. That's all.
yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Good up on to week one. This is what we've been waiting for the whole year. Hopefully
Yeah,
we can do this every week. We'll figure out a time so we'll
definitely.
keep getting back to y'all. But yeah, any shout outs before we get out of here?
Joy Taylor, man, I guess. She was at the U game. U with a big
Oh,
win.
she was?
You would,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. Our brother coach. Jason
Oh,
Taylor's
I didn't know that.
our
I
D
know her
line
brother
coach.
is. I know he was a coach.
Yeah, yeah. He's our D line coach. So big win against Notre Dame. Jumped into the top five. So shout out to Joy Taylor, man, doing other endeavors now since she's not on TV. So yeah, I guess that other one, I'm good. Yeah,
That other one is crazy. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah,
heartbroken.
good up. Looking forward to NFL week one. I'm thinking college
Yeah,
football week two. But yeah, we will catch y'all next week. Set and
yes,
change
sir.
pod.